The 2024 season has come to an end. The Chiefs do not complete the three-peat. The Eagles prove that you can sort out your offense through free agency and then sort out your defense through the draft, which leads me to the point of this video. We're going to take a look at the 2025 college prospects. We're going to be taking a look into the 2025 NFL draft and taking a look at offensive skill positions. We're going to look at quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and hopefully we can come to a consensus towards the end of where we should be deploying our rookie picks and what kind of talent prospects are about to drop into the NFL, because that's one of the most exciting parts of the NFL calendar is this lead up towards the combine, the draft, preseason, and then the season starts. So without further ado, this is Dynasty Dilemmas. Let's get into it. The first player we are going to talk about is quarterback from Miami, Cam Ward. All right, this guy, he's a real field general, all right, point guard. And he's also a dog, like competitor. You know, this guy had a few clutch moments last season. We're going to talk about the positives first, all right? He had a real nice compact base throwing the football. He's got a calm pocket presence, like too calm, ice, like he's so chill in there. It almost looks like lazy, but if anything, the style is a bit more nonchalant, but he fully knows what is going on. So maybe I shouldn't say lazy, but it almost looks like that, like it's too easy. And that's a real cool style for a quarterback to have, because that calms your teammates around you, knowing that this guy, he's in the pocket, he's making decisions, he's not panicking. A la Jaden Daniels last season. Very cool. I would say he's got decent mobility, nice fluid hips. He's not going to be like your rusher like Lamar Jackson, get out of the pocket, 20, 30 rush yards. It's not like that type. It's more like has the awareness and the intelligence to get out of the pocket, third down, they're playing man coverage, all the backs are turned. He runs up, gets a first down. He has really impressive arm angles. I loved his ball placement when leading wide receivers. That was all over the tape. Protecting wide receivers, but then also giving wide receivers opportunity for yards after the catch with just like leading them, making sure that ball is just landing in front of you. Go get it, take off. I thought that was really clear and evident in the tape. Very accurate receiver. 4,000 pass yards, nearly 40 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. Like, it shows the accuracy. He definitely had the numbers in his senior year. That's for certain. I would compare him to like a Ben Roethlisberger, CJ Stroud type, Josh Allen type of build, even though he hasn't got the rushing upside of maybe like a Josh Allen. But really talented player, really calm. I really expect him to go within the first 3 picks of this 25 NFL draft. Of course, after the combine, this is being recorded before the combine, so I'm not entirely sure on his measurables or how teams are feeling him, but I think a lot of teams will like his tape. I don't expect him to go after the first 5 picks. Really talented player, day one starter. You can build a franchise around that kid. The next quarterback I want to talk about is senior Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. Of course, this guy has entered the 25 NFL draft with loads of hype because his father is the great NFL Hall of Famer Dillon Sanders. And I want to just get that out of the way and mention it because after that, it has nothing to do with the tape that I watched. I think Shedeur is a very talented quarterback. I think he's got amazing, calm, cool pocket presence. He has decent mobility in the pocket. He knows how to manipulate defenses, read defenses, make off-the-cuff ad hoc decisions to benefit his team. I would say through the tape, I did notice he's just a steady athlete. Like, he's got good mobility. He can get out of the pocket, sneak you a couple extra yards when defenses are playing man coverage. But similar to Cam Ward, this guy is not a elite upside rusher. He's not going to be like your Lamar Jacksons. He's not even going to be like Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. But I think more often than not, he's going to trust his arms and his legs. I would say he sometimes holds on to the ball a little too long because despite his arm talent, sometimes the pressure that he faces or allows before releasing the ball is kind of crazy. Like, it's all over the tape. I'm not really sure whether to pin it down to sketchy O-line play or the fact that he holds on to the football too long. But either way, sometimes this guy's making throws, the ball's in his face, but he's still dropping dimes. So I would say at the next level, he would benefit maybe from a veteran quarterback situation. Maybe he could sit a year, or if he is going to be thrusted into a situation where he's going to be the bona fide starter, he would need a decent O-line, I would say, especially for the initial experiences of the NFL. Like, it's the NFL, it's not college. Like, he's going to be prone to throwing turnovers, and there's only so many turnovers you can throw as a rookie before they start making different decisions. So, yeah, Shedeur, I still think he's a bona fide first-round pick. I know the comparisons like Brock Purdy, Jared Goff are not as exciting. Um, However, there is definitely a place for that in the NFL, and being a good decision maker is very important for a lot of teams' wins and losses. So I do like Shedeur Sanders. I don't expect him to be picked before Cam Ward, but I would expect him to get picked within the first round. The next quarterback I want to talk about is Jalen Milroe Jr. out of Alabama. I'm quite excited that he declared for the draft because I do think this guy is an explosive playmaker. Like, this guy makes plays with his athleticism and intelligence. He shows all the attributes of a top dominant dual threat quarterback. He's just a little bit inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? You just want to see him put it all together and make that his regular thing. I mean, looking at the tape, go back and look at that Georgia game if you fancy seeing the capabilities of Jalen Milroe dominating the defense, especially with his legs. And that defense he played against in Georgia is probably one of the closest you get to NFL style, just based off their scheme and their history of always generating defensive players that end up in the NFL draft. So to see him dominate in those type of scenarios was really positive and good to see. Best case scenario, Jalen Milroe ends up becoming a Jalen Hurts. I do give him a first round grade personally because all those attributes together often get overlooked by the NFL. Lamar Jackson drafted later than expected or should have been. Jalen Hurts drafted later than expected or should have been. Like, it just tends to be, they just think, oh, you know what? Not bad for a running back, if you remember that statement that used to be said about Lamar Jackson. But yeah, I do think Jalen Milroe is polarizing because of his range of outcomes. Like, the top of the tree, you want him to be Jalen Hurts. Middle ground is an Anthony Richardson because he's still young in the league. And then a bit less so is maybe like a Malik Willis. So I guess that's why he's not so surefire first round. But if you do combine his stats from his last season as a junior compared to Shedeur Sanders as a senior, for example, if you add the 20 rushing touchdowns to the 16 passing touchdowns, of course, that's 36, isn't it? And 11 interceptions was only one more than Shedeur Sanders, I believe, by the end of the season. So, like, why is he not seen in the same ilk as Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders when he's putting up similar numbers? And if anything, he's doing it kind of in a harder way, shall I say. But we'll see. I think a team takes a chance on him. I think just due to his raw capabilities and pure athleticism, somebody could take a flyer on him. But I do think he maybe won't be a day one starter. Needs a bit of coaching, a bit of love. Maybe if he sits a year in a veteran situation, we'll see him dominate in his sophomore year in the NFL. But I love watching Jalen Milroe's tape. Very talented quarterback. The last quarterback I want to talk about is Dillon Gabriel from Oregon. This kid, in my opinion, is a gunslinger, a bit of an all-rounder. Um, has a little bit of rushing upside. I think he's got a real nice tight spiral when he throws a ball. The velocity of it for his size, like it jumps out, but it moves nice. Leads his receivers. I mean, he does play in Oregon, which is notoriously known as an offense that moves quickly, gets the ball to playmakers, outside space, screens. So I guess sometimes people kind of caveat that level of talent as a quarterback coming out of a college program like that. And I would say there was similar opinions of Bo Nix, for example, a year ago, before he went to the Broncos. However, he's gone to the Broncos, took them to the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long, and he played that style, even though he started, maybe a little bit sketchy, nervous at the first couple games of his NFL career, but he really went into his stride and went on his own. So there's potential for Dillon Gabriel to be similar like that. I think he's similar in Bo Nix in the way he darts, quickly gets the ball out, not much hesitation. However, he doesn't match Bo Nix in terms of style. He does match maybe a Tua in terms of like size and being a lefty. But I did think I saw shades of Phillip Rivers, if people's minds go that far back in the NFL, in the way he would just quickly dart, get it to playmakers, no messing around in the pocket too much. Pressure can't get to you if the ball is out already. So I do really like Dillon Gabriel. I'm a bit unsure if I would put him a complete first round grade because of the size, but it seems like there are quarterbacks that have been successful in the NFL at that size. If you think of like Russell Wilson, for example, but who knows? Hopefully the combine will help him out. Team interviews. I have no idea what team he would like kind of suit, if that makes sense. But I think he is a talented quarterback, underrated, and he deserved his Heisman candidacy. The first running back I want to talk about is Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. This kid, wow, wow, watch his tape. There was a point last season where he was averaging around 10 yards per carry. When I say dominant, Ashton Jeanty was dominant in his last year of college football. The fact he got a Heisman um, nomination, to be honest, arguably should have won it. And he's just a full package. He has everything: speed, power, acceleration, contact balance, can catch the football, can really put the team on his back if needs be. And to be honest, demonstrated that for Boise State, um, getting him to college football playoffs. And yeah, full package. No one can tackle him 1v1. The contact balance in the tape is so apparent. It's so obvious. Just people bouncing off him. And I really do think he is of that Ezekiel Elliott, Bijan Robinson, that type level of prospect, because he can go into a team and make them better straight away from day one. Best case scenario is probably that he lands at like the Dallas Cowboys, because we all know they need help offensively. Well, they need help all over, but that's for another video. But Ashton Jeanty will be the 101 in a lot of fantasy rookie drafts. I compared him to like a Marshawn Lynch. Um, he's got a bit of Alvin Kamara in him. Ezekiel Elliott, like I said before, but yeah, 2,000 plus rush yards. He didn't quite have the same receiving production this season as last season because I think the team were trying to help him break Barry Sanders' rushing record in college. But don't sleep on his pass catching ability. There's really not much more to say. I don't expect him to be past the first 10 picks in the first round. Probably gets the Jamar Gibbs treatment where everybody was shocked when he was picked at 12. I don't think people will be so shocked if this elusive 3-down back, Ashton Jeanty, is picked within the first 15 picks. Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. Now this guy, big boy, big dog, big physical running back, your classic type, your goal line, your first and second down. But to be honest, Judging by his production last season in college, don't sleep on his catching ability. I mean, how many receptions? It was 38 receptions for 373 yards, like 30 plus receptions for any college back, in my opinion, is very solid. And then to turn that into 300 plus yards as well. Fantastic. So, of course, combined with the rushing yards, nearly 2,000 all total yards, 17 touchdowns, 15 on the ground, and 2 in the air. He's a junior, early declare. This is all the attributes you want to see. My only negative is maybe he lacks a little bit of top speed. Like he gets caught. He's so explosive, good ball carrier vision, but them last 5-10 yards, can he finish? Ashton Jeanty, I know he will. Omarion Hampton, I'm still a little bit unsure. However, he's got the size to finish his dinner if he gets stopped within 10 yards of the end zone kind of thing. So I think he could get a full workload from the jump. However, he might end up in a timeshare, as we know how the NFL is. Maybe in that first year, and then an second year breakout. If I was going for rookie picks, I'd probably take him within the first 13, 14 picks. If you missed out on Ashton Jeanty already, Omarion Hampton is someone to look out for. But anyway, hopefully the combine helps back up my claims that you should take him so early in your rookie drafts. But Omarion Hampton, very talented, big, physical, has the attributes to be a 3-down back. Probably going to be like an early second draft pick. The next running back I want to talk about is Kaleb Johnson, running back from Iowa. Now, this kid, I really enjoyed watching his tape, if I'm honest, actually. He's a bit slippery. Excuse me, please me. Like amigos. Like, I just thought, how some running backs, as they approach in the line, they get a little bit tiptoey and then, the blocks don't quite set up and then the rush. No. This kid's decisive. He will approach, press the hole, and then he's gone. Decision done. Do you know what I mean? And usually, more often than not, he had the right decision. He's playing for Iowa. Like, I can't remember another star really on his team last season. Like, most defenses he's going to come up against, they're going to stack the box. They know he's getting the ball. He still had the production. He still had the yards. And what notes did I have on him? Steady contact balance, inside zone runner. He's explosive and decisive. He just has a couple moments where he creates things you can't quite teach, but that's just based off his attributes of ball carrier vision and acceleration. In terms of comparison, I've seen him a bit more like a Raheem Mostert. Although Mostert probably has a higher top speed to like finish towards the end. Javonte Williams I've seen a bit of, and DeMarco Murray if your mind goes back. But he's got talent. We just have to see maybe his landing spot. Definitely elusive, a slasher, great lateral quickness. I think he has the abilities to be a 3-down back. Probably be able to solidify that opinion based off his combine. But I do think for now, in my initial assessment, he's just a savvy running back, competitive, who probably just needs to improve a little bit in his pass blocking. But I really enjoy watching Kaleb Johnson's tape, and I think he will be early second, third round, but the draft capital will be important to determine what kind of role we could maybe see him in the future. But yeah, good talented back, Kaleb Johnson. The last running back I have to talk about is TreVeyon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. I really enjoyed watching this guy's tape. Of course, they won the national championship, so you got to see a couple more games than maybe some of the other players. This kid is super creative, super efficient running the football, because he was also in a timeshare with Quinshon Judkins, who just about dropped out on my list because I had TreVeyon Henderson slightly higher based off his explosiveness and efficiency of touches. Like, I think he didn't have more than 150 carries, which maybe some of the other backs like Ashton Jeanty or Omarion Hampton had. However, he still churned out 1,000 rushing yards. produce 200 plus receiving yards off steady receptions. And yeah, I really like TreVeyon Henderson. I don't expect him to be a 3-down back at the next level. I do think he would be in a timeshare, but he would be the lightning to someone's thunder, if that makes sense. You know, like a Gibbs Montgomery type partnership. Maybe not to that level. However, Henderson, he's really electric, really electric. Like bottle it up and release it type electric. He can be a safety valve for the quarterback. He can rush the ball in between the tackles. He can rush the ball outside zone. Decent pass blocker. I think he's a really talented kid. I'd be surprised if he was taken in the first round. I would probably put him in the second, third round of the NFL draft. Based off his size, I wouldn't put him as a full workload, but you know, in terms of comparison, like a Bucky Irving, you saw how efficient he was in the timeshare with Rashad White last year, or a Tony Pollard, who was the lightning to Ezekiel Elliott's thunder before he usurped him as their RB1. But, you know, this is the ilk of build I see TreVeyon Henderson, and I think he can definitely make an impact at the next level. The first wide receiver I want to talk about is Tetairoa McMillan, aka T-Mac, wide receiver out of Arizona. This guy, big physical wide receiver, fantastic catch radius, amazing production in his final college year, over 1,300 yards, 84 receptions. He has great route running. I think he has really good yards after the catch ability. And other than Travis Hunter, who is like cornerback / wide receiver, who I'm going to speak about soon, he is a clear wide receiver 1 in this class. It's not a very deep wide receiver class, in my opinion. However, I feel like we kind of say that every year, and then a couple guys just pop out. You didn't even realize they were that level. However, Tetairoa McMillan, it will be clear that he is of that level. Amazing catch radius. Reminds me of Michael Pittman when I was watching his tape, like a Mike Evans, even Puka Nacua, someone that, of course, is going to line up in the X, line up outside, but making those shallow crosses across the field, being a big target, I can see him running those type of routes. So, yeah, Tetairoa McMillan, baller, gonna be a first round pick. I really liked watching his tape. I think it was quite dominant. So, if you were taking him in rookie picks as well, I can imagine you probably take him in the first 5 of rookie picks. Sticking with wide receivers, we are going to talk about Travis Hunter, wide receiver / cornerback from Colorado. This kid just won the Heisman Trophy for one of the most electric college football seasons I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've never seen a player dominate on both sides of the ball the way Travis Hunter did last season, especially considering he's a junior. I'm not sure how much in the NFL he'll be able to play 2 positions, just because of the level of intensity per snap on either side of the ball. However, it would be cool if a team maybe drafted him as a cornerback and had him with some wide receiver packages, or if they just said, no, we are drafting you to be a wide receiver, our offense needs more help, or no, we are drafting you to be a cornerback, our defense needs more help. Loads of ranges of outcomes, but one thing that is for certain is this kid is a dog. A dog. I need a... Travis Hunter is a dog. He's a deep threat, fantastic running routes, incredibly explosive. And if I can't lie, he had a bit of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase when I was watching the tape. He's one of one. Like, there maybe aren't too many comparisons because he's just, playmaker, starving to be on the field. And there's a reason for it, because he's so impactful when he's on it. There's a couple catches throughout the season which were like, maybe Shedeur Sanders shouldn't even thrown, but because of the trust and the connection them two had, Travis Hunter's coming down with it. Like, there was one catch against South Dakota State, which it was thrown late by Sanders and it was caught behind him. But when I say his hands were like here, ridiculous. So Really electric tape. Really electric player. Don't expect him to go past the first 5 picks because he can be an elite corner or an elite wide receiver. Like, how often do you get an opportunity to draft a player like that coming out of college? But yeah, Travis Hunter is the real deal. Can't wait to see where he lands and how he tests at the combine. Like, I'm expecting 4.3, 4.2 type speed. The next wide receiver on my board is Emeka EgBuka. I hope I didn't butcher that. Wide receiver from Ohio State. This guy comes from the Ohio State. He's a wide receiver from Ohio State. They've had Garrett Wilson. They've had Chris Olave. They've had Jackson Smith-Njigba. And that's even just of recent years. Marvin Harrison Jr. They had Terry McLaurin, if you want to go a little bit far back. So the point I'm trying to make is if you get a wide receiver from Ohio State declaring for the draft, chances are they're really good. And Emeka EgBuka is the same. Excellent route runner. I think he's had some trouble in previous seasons with some injuries, so didn't quite match the production levels of some of the other wide receivers mentioned. However, I still think he's a talent, a first round talent. I think he can help a team straight away. He can play in the slot. I'd like to say I think he can play outside as well, but he's going to be a talent that develops, of course, as the season goes on. I don't think he will straight away land in the NFL and drop 1,000 yards as a rookie, but this is kind of more talent that I could see 600-700 yards with more attributes to his locker to contribute is in his sophomore year. So, I mean, I do think he's efficient. I comped him to like a Golden Tate, a Khalil Shakir. And even though those guys weren't bona fide wide receiver ones, they still had quite productive seasons in the NFL. And I would like to see Emeka reach that kind of trajectory. So, yeah, really good player. Comes from Ohio State. Don't overthink it. If he's there in your rookie picks as a late first, I'd take him. Probably from the 107 to 111 range. But without having to wax more lyrical, 8 receptions, 1,000 yards, can't complain. National championship winner. The last wide receiver I want to talk about is Luther Burden III from Missouri. Now, this guy is very explosive and very creative with the ball in his hands after the catch. Like, I really like his yak ability. I'll call him a yak monster. However, that might be seen as a negative because most of his snaps were played out of the slot, taking advantage of the mismatches he may meet in those scenarios. He didn't quite have the production in his last year of college that maybe was expected after his sophomore season. However, he's still declaring as a junior. I still think he has the attributes, tools, skill set, whatever you want to call it, to be impactful at the next level. And I compared him to like a Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk type of player. Showed me shades of Diontae Johnson. Maybe he hasn't got quite the route running ability of the Diontae Johnson, but I still think somebody will take a chance on Luther Burden to be their wide receiver 2 with potential to become a wide receiver 1. I have like a late first round, day 2 kind of pick on him. Probably more towards day 2, might fall to day 3 kind of pick. But Luther Burden III played SEC, so you know that's tough. Good wide receiver, really creative after the catch and explosive. So if you were taking him in rookie picks, I would not take him before Tet McMillan or Emeka, but I would take a flyer on him if all those options had already passed. The next player I want to talk about is tight end Tyler Warren from Penn State. Now, this guy, whoa, gives me that Rob Gronkowski vibe I haven't had in a while. Like, you know, big target, big physical tight end. Guys, DBs, like bouncing off him, that's the kind of tight end I want, and that's the kind of tight end I think Tyler Warren is. He's going to be a huge target over the middle, very strong in blocking. His size is massive, and he's actually a baller. Penn State were doing everything they can to get that man the football and tell other people to get out of the way. He was lining up Wildcat like his quarterback, running back, like the production level as well. 100 plus receptions. Fantastic for a tight end who's mainly deemed to be seen as a good blocking prospect. Had fantastic receptions, production, amazing yards, 1,200 yards from the tight end. Like, you've got some wide receivers that are coming into the draft that don't have the production level of Tyler Warren. So I do think he's a day one starter. I do think he's a first round pick. Gives me vibes of like Tucker Kraft, Dallas Goedert. I just think he will start straight away, mainly because of his size. He can help blocking. He will improve the running game, and he can contribute in the receiving game instantly. That screams day one starter to me. The next player I want to talk about is tight end Colston Loveland from Michigan. Now, this guy doesn't quite have the same numbers or production level in his last season as Tyler Warren. However, they talk about different trees of tight end where you come from. If Tyler Warren is Rob Gronkowski, then Colston Loveland is your Travis Kelce type. Not so important as Gronkowski in production in the running game. However, he's going to be a fantastic contributor like Kelce in the passing game. He kind of has the body type of a big wide receiver, slightly less heavy than a Tyler Warren. Well, maybe not slightly. I think there's a good 30, 40 pounds. We'll let the combine decide exactly what it is. However, he's a huge target. Colston Loveland's great route runner, and I do think he's going to contribute to a team straight away at the next level. 50 plus receptions, 500 plus yards. This is your normal tight end production, what you'd be happy with. However, we are going to see where he could land. I could imagine him at like a Broncos, for example, joining up with Bo Nix, giving him a security blanket over the middle to match the attack from the outside. But Colston Loveland, talented player, good production, came from Michigan, which is a winning program, very good program. So I do see him being picked high. I'm just not so sure if it will be a first round pick or a second round judgment, but it's not a bad thing either way if he goes first or second round. If anything, somebody picks him up in the second, they've got themselves a steal just because of the ceiling Colston Loveland has in terms of future production. He could be a really good tight end in this league. If you made it this far into the video, I just want to say I appreciate you for taking the time. I also want to say hopefully I'll give you some insight or at least some thought process into how I see some of the talent coming into the 2025 NFL draft. Hopefully after the combine, we can really focus in on what talents we want to pick for our NFL fantasy rookie drafts. But in the meantime, there's still plenty of dilemmas to get through. This has been Dynasty Dilemma with your boy Aliko. I look forward to dropping another video for you soon. Please like, subscribe, or don't. Or don't.